If we hadn't have had a property given to us by Origin Housing, I don't really know where we'd be living now, to be honest, because we'd probably still be stuck at our in-laws.
They were very modern. Basil Jellicoe brought together the best architects and designers, did a very good job all round, and people were very pleased with their accommodation ultimately.
Father Basil Jellicoe's vision was about creating good quality, affordable housing for people, and ensuring as well that those individuals and those communities were supported. That was his overall philosophy, and that's a philosophy that has continued through with the work that Origin does today.
Father Basil Jellicoe, a name that not many people will recognise. A man who affected the lives of so many, but who is known by so few. This is the man who changed the living conditions in and around Somerstown and its surrounding areas. In the 1920s, whilst working in the area, he was horrified at the rat-infested slum conditions of one of the poorest areas in the country. He became determined to challenge inequality, poverty, and the conscience of the rich. Father Basil was always destined to do good work. Born on the 5th of February 1899, he studied at Magdalen College, Oxford, before training for the priesthood at St Stephen's House. Upon ordination, he was appointed Magdalen's missioner to Somerstown, a vocation which changed not only his life, but the lives of generations of men, women and children to come. It was during his time at St Mary's, Somertown, when Father Basil did what many considered his most defining work. Determined to make a better life for the poverty-stricken parishioners around Somerstown, he created the St Pancras Housing Improvement Society to improve the living standards of those in derelict housing.
Father Basil began the social housing movement. He declared war on the slums in this area, and it was pretty gruesome, and brought together a committee which included the first female chartered surveyor, who was Irene Barclay. He wanted to prove that homes could be provided at a reasonable cost and in excellent condition for the residents in this area.
As Jelicoe had been born into privilege, he decided to use his many connections to assemble a powerful alliance for change, enlisting the support of the Prince of Wales, the Archbishop of Canterbury and the Housing Minister in his Improvement Society. Being a forward thinker, he took advantage of the new media of his time, making an early film of the conditions in which his parishioners lived. He took the film to those who lived in prosperity up and down the land in a mobile cinema trailer, so that they could see what life in the slums was really like. After each showing, he told them, "Now you know what life is like. You have no excuse for inaction." With the support of the Archbishop of Canterbury and the Prince of Wales, the Society purchased and transformed poor quality housing for Somerstown residents, and started the slow but steady regeneration of the area. One of the key values that Father Basil Jellicoe entrenched into the St Pancras Housing Association was that housing is not enough, meaning that a house on its own isn't enough without a community in which to live. The community is where people thrive.
That was Basil Jellicoe's mantra, and essentially what he meant was that he didn't want simply to build homes for people, he wanted to build a community. Therefore he put forward ideas such as nurseries, one of which is above the building there, St Christopher's. The organisation also provided holidays and funding loans, and it also acquired 2 pubs, which are around the corner here in Charlton Street.
When Father Jellicoe passed away, he was lauded in the Times newspaper. The obituary gave some flavour of Jellicoe's extraordinary energy and enterprise, telling its readers that he resolved that he would not rest till his people had homes fit to live in. From the original St Pancras Housing Association came many incarnations of Father Jellicoe's vision. The Humanist Housing Association of the 1930s provided housing and support for people who couldn't receive charitable housing provided by the church because they weren't part of the church. And Griffin Homes, created in 1974, originally to provide homes for London transport staff, which continues its tradition of providing housing for key workers for low rent, and more recently branched into providing low-cost home ownership to this day. Father Basil's great work and passionate philosophy now lives on in 21st century London through Origin Housing, which embodies Father Basil Jellicoe's vision today.
In 2010, the Origin group was collapsed so that the three organisations became one. So St Pancras and Humanist Housing Association, Griffin Homes and Origin Group became one housing association. And we did this essentially to reduce costs because the organisation was unnecessarily complicated with 3 governing boards, 3 sets of accounts and complicated administrative arrangements. So bringing the 3 organisations together meant that actually we could reduce costs and improve value for money for residents. Origin's current vision is great homes, positive people and strong communities. What that means is great homes. It's about providing homes that people can be really proud of. Both the new homes that we build, of which we're trying to build as many as possible because there's such a shortage of homes in London and the South East, and making sure that those homes that we built even 70, 80 years ago are kept up to a really good high quality and meet modern day standards. So both of those things are really important to us. Then positive people, that's all about the services we provide. I want our customers to be really positive about us as a landlord and as a service provider. And in that way, I want, therefore, all our staff to feel really positive about working for Origin. And then the last bit of the vision statement, strong communities, does link back to the roots of the organisation and Father Basil Jellicoe's housing is not enough statement, because strong communities for us nowadays means helping people and neighbourhoods to thrive. So helping people at an individual level, for example, with welfare benefits advice, and helping to strengthen communities. Things like our time bank schemes, which actually help neighbours to help each other.
So what would Father Basil Jellicoe think now? The modern day incarnation of Father Basil Jellicoe's original vision, Origin Housing, now manages over 5,500 homes, has a turnover of £37 million, and aims to provide great homes and build strong communities in North London and Hertfordshire. Alongside the existing 5,500 homes Origin is responsible for, there are currently 25 to 30 projects in development, including Watermill Lane in Edmonton, Aldenham Square in Bushey and Gilbert Street in Enfield. As a direct result of the vision that housing is not enough, Origin Housing focuses on building communities and has committed extensive resources to it. The Gilbert Street development in Enfield is a perfect example of one of Origin Housing's successful integrated community developments. With a range of housing including social housing and part rent part buy, Origin has been successful in placing a number of people here who wouldn't ordinarily have had the chance to live in such a high standard of accommodation.
I've been living here since the 28th of February because I remember because I was waiting for the keys. I was really excited. I live with my husband and my little boy. We've settled in, really well actually, really well. Before we were in a studio flat, which was fine for 2 of us. We got married and I fell pregnant and then we were looking into buying off the open market and it was just out of our price reach. We couldn't do it with the high deposits. Origin Housing helped us because they ran a scheme which was a part-by-part rent, which I didn't really know too much about to start with, and then they went through everything with us and explained how much money you'd need for a deposit, how much of a percentage share you can buy, looked at what was affordable to you. They recommended mortgage brokers to help out with the finances, going through everything. So really helpful on that side of things. The new flat is close to my work, so it's a lot easier for me to get to work with a young child, dropping him off at childcare. Really changed our life because obviously we didn't really have anywhere to live before that.
In addition to that, the Time Bank project and the Irene Barclay and John Toomey funds are examples of wonderful community initiatives and projects that still have Father Basil Jellicoe's heart and soul at the core of their ethos. The current vicar of St Mary's Somerstown, the Reverend John Castor, says, Father Jelicoe believed and lived out our calling to love God and to love our neighbour. Through his ministry in Somerstown, he was able to support and preserve a local community and to bring about better living and social conditions. The fruits of his efforts are still seen in Somerstown today: identifiable community, decent living conditions and a palpable local spirit. Father Jelicoe continues to serve as an example for all who engage in the Lord's mission work. The modern Time Bank scheme exemplifies this.
The Time Bank is all about sharing skills in your local community. The Time Bank's been going for 4 years now and has been hugely successful in Camden.
With all the projects that the Time Bank runs, they're purely run by volunteers, so it all depends on what skill base the volunteers come with.
Some of our projects include our gardening group, we also have an art group, and we have a yoga group.
The scheme, as with so much else, would never have been achieved without the energy and hard work of Father Basil Jellicoe. Unfortunately, Father Basil Jellicoe's life was cut short when he died at the age of 36, not allowing him to accomplish his full life's ambitions. However, his legacy lives on, not just in the houses that were built at the time and the families that were given the benefits of his vision, but through the living, breathing legacy which has now become Origin Housing, and their efforts to stay true to the vision that housing is not enough. Father Basil Jellicoe's epitaph speaks for itself.
And thank you so much, Origin Housing, we really do appreciate it.